It's definitely not tier 0 stature anymore, but it's still a lot of fun. Welcome back. It's good to see you. You my boy Blue, the Red.
So yeah, guys, the deck's been a lot of fun. Make you definitely embrace the casual era. This is the OK Grandpa deck, where this deck used to be at an all-time high, and now it's got some support in the last few years, but it's just not quite enough. But it's still a lot of fun, and it's really fun to try to craft theory for Rogue to try to get it home. And this deck is a lot of fun to try to get home. So I'll just say that. Definitely has the power creep issues, but it doesn't matter. It's if you can play your cards right, you can kind of be in any game. I really like this deck inside of Genesis too, so I highly recommend it. I'm playing 3 Ariad Bear. It's very, very different from anything that anybody else is even trying, but I definitely feel like it's correct to be able to open this anyway, to be able to tribute a Nekroz off of the field, and then plus off their effects in that kind of way. I'm playing some more cards to make this even better. And then it's anti-nib most of the time, and just anti-hand trap in general. So if you just only summon 4 times and you can block a specific hand trap, this card is absolutely phenomenal, and because it negates and banishes. And then obviously being able to pitch off Charmies and stuff like that, to be able to pitch the dead cards in your hand, I also really, really like it. Valk, I'm still playing Valk. It's definitely power crept a lot, and you can easily make this a cut if you're not feeling it at all. But I still like it behind stuff like Unicorn to be able to protect from getting destroyed in battle. But in Pot of Greed on your turn as well, the Pot of Greed comes up a lot, and I feel like that's still worth playing. This doesn't come up as much because of time, but it's still nice to have some negation a little bit. But like, these decks are too layered for a card like Valk to matter anymore, so it's kind of sad. Maybe we can get some updates soon, just with some better cards, or just some cards that are more adapted to whatever the meta is now, because these cards, some of these cards are way, way far behind, so you have to play some other deck ideas. Like Ice Barrier and Foolish Goods. Really, really hilarious, and allows you to turn Catastrophe and a few other cards into just absolute powerhouses. Trish, obviously, to mistiming more than anything, but then take a card out of the grave, out of their hand, in and off the field, which is, if they have to land all 3, and it is a win effect, so you can get mistimed on some things, but it's also anti-targeting, and Trish is just Trish. You don't need to play more than that, because it would be bad. Metaltron, Little Knight, that's your card's not going to return. Very fun card to play, and it's also eccentric in the scale. The weird things with it is that it's light, which also is really, really annoying, and doesn't really play into a strategy that I want to take the deck into next, which is Stealth Kraken is pretty strong in this deck, and there's an ability to kind of mix some things up with Ryzeal and much more, which we're going to get into. But this card is nice. You want to have it next to Unicorn most of the time, but it does a lot of justice. This is the card that I'm playing just to make a call, just to try something, because this protects from destruction in battle, and destruction from card effect, which is really, really key actually, because everybody's either playing some board wipes or Draco Tail stuff or whatever, and being able to just protect it for this turn, and just, it's not gonna go anywhere. That can also be really, really key, because this is 3,300, by the way, which Marakumo can try to get rid of, like try to play around it. They'll Marakumo affected it to destroy it, negate and banish, and then they chain the quick play to try to play around that. And you're like, ah, dang, and you just can Gungnir, and then it's stuck there. And in the tech that I'm playing, I'm also been messing around with Droplet as well, which isn't in this profile, but I've been messing around with Droplet as well. It just makes this card really, really annoying to get off the board, as well as the Unicorn that they're going to definitely try to get off the board. It turns their extra deck off. Also really, really key, as well as being able to pitch from the hand to add any of these back. So there's specific scenarios where you may need to resummon some of these, or use their other effects in hand. Maybe block them from battle again, Trish them again, drop Metaltron if it somehow ended up in the grave. Most of the time it's going to end up in your extra deck to be able to send on the quick play. It's just nice to have this card, and I feel like if you're going to play Nekroz, you can't try to play the hand trap wars. So this is just what I've been trying instead of the hand trap wars, and I just tried to block out the superior hand traps that you cannot handle, and try to break the board that way, because I feel like maybe that's a little bit more successful. Hey, I can do what I want. It's a road deck. Nekroz, the Brionic, the Searcher, as well as the Shuffler back. When they have cards, this card is really, really actually nuts going second, because it can shuffle back extra deck stuff. You can like Dark Ruler some stuff. and then just punch through them. I've been playing a different card than that in my side that's been doing a lot of justice, but I definitely feel like if you wanted to try something totally wacky, I've been thinking about going second with it. It's just some stuff to try, guys. You have to take a break from meta sometimes. I need a break from meta right now. And I also sold a lot of stuff. Nekroz of Kolossos, obviously, to be able to grab any of the spells, and as well as just be on the board and be like a flying imperm a little bit that can affect them in the damage step, which they kind of forget about. Every time that it's summoned, they forget about that. People don't read cards, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh players. What can you do? That's all for the ritual monsters. So I wanted to kind of slow down and talk about that, just because those cards are all really, really outdated, but they also can get the job done, but they have to like work in unison, and they're all very, very strong cards. Triple advance. The normal summon of the deck, really. You can normal summon the Amelia if you're not quite there, but then you'll get like blocked off of this card. But this card specifically allows you to special from deck any of the Nekroz cards that I'm going to get into, and that can be key to not just summon Amelia, which is really, really strong, and it can give you the plus of when it's normal or special summon to go grab almost anything in your deck. You obviously have the other names, which is Greatsword, Aerial, Ensure It. When it's tributed, grab a warrior. When it's tributed, grab a monster. When it's tributed, grab a monster. It's a spellcaster. And then when they're banished, they also do some crazy things as well to be able to kind of play more into the deck. So I wanted to play more of these cards with the Area Bear, because even if I can't, you know, if maybe you get ashed or something and you get stuck, you may have an Amelia in your hand. And if that Amelia, if I also have this, then I'm gonna have the ability to pitch this, take those cards off the board, plus off of these, and then just gain more advantage. And then I'm not trying to play the hand trap war of trying to droll them back if they droll me or anything. I'm just trying to punch through the droll and then set up like kind of a floodgate experience, just because this deck can absolutely wreck cards that are trying to touch the graveyard, which is a lot of the hand traps that stop this deck. But these are all hilarious cards to play, and these kind of help the deck keep up with some of the other decks, because it creates massive advantage in getting them back off of advance to be able to put a lot of these cards back in your hand. Ends the game very swiftly. 1 Maximus and 3 Fua. You don't need to play more Dogmatika stuff, and if you do, it's like I want to play the Dogmatika deck itself, because that's a lot of fun. But Nekroz, it definitely has a speed issue, but Maximus definitely gets a lot done, as well as the Fuas. You really just, this is an insane Charmy deck. If you have Valk and they stop some things when you're going first, maybe they droll you or something like that, you can just get there, have an Area Bear to be able to protect on the field. The Area Bear can actually move. The Charmies can open right back up. The Little Knight Imposter can also just leave the board. So you make a lot of stuff that can either leave the board or stick it to the board where they can't really get it off the board, and then it can just turn into a pseudo control deck. Even though it's combo, it's also really, really insane control. And although it definitely has a speed issue, it still is really, really insane to drop some of these cards. Definitely got to talk about Nadir and 3 Prep. Consistency, just trying to get to some things. You don't want to play 3 of these because you don't want to keep seeing it like that. And I didn't want to play Flu or any of the other cards just because they get in the way as well. And they're just not good to draw in tandem with other stuff. Because like, what is a Flu by itself? Nothing really. I just want the Maximus. The Prep. Nobody's maining Droll, and if they are maining Droll, I'm kind of playing how to like play around it, and then I have a lot of answers on my side either as well. 3 of the quick play, probably going to cut back down to 2 since I'm not playing. I was playing 3 because of Sophia, but Sophia I actually was just goofing around in tournament recently, just for some fun for locals, and I really had a blast. With the card. It did lock out some people on turn 0, in case you've never seen this. It does lock people out of their extra deck, which is a really, really hilarious tech, but it's just leaning way too hard on drawing this. And then if you do draw this, then you can just start off your plays the next turn after locking them out of their extra deck. So this is really, really insane, but the the cost of actually trying to summon it just make it a bad card. If you just draw this with a bunch of these, that's not good either. To round out the spells, you know, you can easily just make this 2/1/1/1/1. I feel like that's probably correct, but I do like having 3 of these because just always being able to play freely with this card can absolutely change the game instantly and help you keep up with some of these decks. These are the ones I'm just having fun with these. But skill drain, because area bear is 3,300, that's just annoying. And most of the time you can be like area bear on the Marakumo or whatever, and then they may have try to answer something or do something if they're not moving it off the board, or if they are moving it off the board, you can summon some cards back. But having a skill drain is really stupid. You got to floodgate people when you can. These cards are all just consistency and or protecting your plays, and then Super Poly is just a nice card to draw, and the Mud Dragon in the deck actually kind of protects your deck a little bit. It's like an extra Nekroz in your deck. The extra deck, obviously, just talking about the synchros first. Luluwala Lilith, I just wanted the 12 in case you drew the Valk and the Unicorn together. Or the Metaltron and the Trish with Colossus, you can just summon this off Kaleidoscope. Most of the time you're going to use the Kaleidoscope to summon the Arclight. The Arclight is going to be able to send to the graveyard, then add any ritual, because that's what it does. Unfortunately, other decks that have nothing to do with ritual decks are affecting playing these synchros. So, you know, it is what it is with that. The Super Poly targets, Secretarion. Occasionally, you know, you may be able to summon back your Emilia from the grave and then plus off of it, because it does get its effect when it's special summoned. And you can kind of take apart their board. You're not really playing the Draco Tail stuff. I know I showed that version, but you know, that version was also a lot of fun. But this is, if you're gonna play it this way, you can't really mix in all of that stuff. But I still wanted to have the card because the card is an insane card. Garura and Mud Dragon, the other Super Poly targets, as well as Dogmatika targets, another Dogmatika target to be able to pop. Going into the Exceed part, I have been kind of waffling back and forth because I did want to play this card. It definitely handles the Mitsu matchup and being able to keep up with some of these decks that just have big beaters of boss monsters that you can't really handle. It's always nice to have a Sky Crisis. It's always nice to have a Baguska as well. And then totally awesome is the Exceed target. So truly, not only for the Slayer, but just in any regard in getting something back to Maximus when you send it, you get to kick a Nekroz card back to your hand. This is the reason why I want to play Ice Barrier as well, just because being able to have that ability to play around Droll and then kick a water card back into your hand, as well as this, can get absolutely stupid. As well as I like having this card and this card in the upcoming version that I'm playing, which is Rizio, because being able to have these and sending one off of an EX and then grab one back off of Nyarla, just trust me, crazy things coming soon. It's probably the most fun version and probably the most successful version in playing it in real life. Coming soon. The little link package, not little, but being able to have something like Iria, to be able to have a access line, as well as having stuff like Cross Sheep to just get there all the time. Dynamondo isn't good in this deck. The Arsalan card isn't really that good either, and it's more in the way than anything. But the Arsalan card is just, you know, it is what it is. Little Knight, and then the Tri-Brigade Fairjet, because I'm playing Slayer, just to be able to kind of fix your hand occasionally. You will draw some weird hands with this deck, and sometimes it'll get there, sometimes it won't. You have to have as many good hands as you can possibly try to get. The other Super Polys, Shifter, and a Di-Fi package. So being able to kind of wipe out a lot of these graveyard decks, as well as wipe out some of these decks that are also graveyard decks, but also just lose to a card like Super Poly, is why I'm playing the other two. In the side, for when you know you're going second, you can walk through a board. Salesband, you can kind of side in all the time, especially if you see Drolls and Ashes in game one, you feel like they're going to keep them in, they're going to keep them in because those cards are so dominant. And Nekroz's speed differential is behind, So if they draw you, you want to have the answers, my bottom line. This is where I like the deck as a Charmy deck, but that strategy is not going to do anything in any capacity, even in Genesis, you know, like even in these other ideas and iterations of the game, it's not enough. And I feel like Board Breakers was just a lot of fun, and it was really simplified. So again, guys, I really feel like the deck has a lot of different ways that you can take it. Can't wait to do those. Can't wait to show those. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. And I myself, I'm out. You my boy Blue or Red, we out.